this is why top lane feels so frustrating to play for so many players. Drututt made 0 mistakes. And this is my issue with a top laner or the top lane experience. How do you play the game in those scenarios, right?
Every move you made, I was watching you.
If you are serious about improving and climbing to your desired league rank, you're in the right place. This year, I've worked on laying out 2 courses that will help you in all aspects to improve. One is about all the fundamentals for the laning phase, and the other one goes in depth on tempo and the mid to late. I've been Challenger for 7 years and I can guarantee you that this will massively speed up your process and reaching any goal that you have set in mind. Both courses have a preview video where you can see the style of the videos, so check those out before anything. You can also always join my Discord to check out some reviews. Alright, let's get into the video. Welcome everybody. I want to talk about top lane and why I feel like I believe that top lane is not as broken as people make it out to be. Now, disclaimer I want to make is I think top lane champions are extremely strong. I think top lane bruiser items are extremely strong as well. And I think the role in itself, if you get ahead as a top laner, is very hard to deal with. And that I agree with. However, I feel like to get to that point, especially the higher elo you go or you play against opponents that match your skill, the less prevalent this will be or the less options you have. And that's why I feel like the role compared to other roles has so much less impact. For example, as a jungler, you're able to impact every role that you have. And I want to show you guys some concepts in this game that lead to, I'm playing against Drututt this game, him losing the lane without making a single mistake. So a few things to look at, right? My jungler is pathing from bot into top, and Lilia is most likely clearing from top to bot, right? So that means that Drututt right now is weak side, and as a result of that, he doesn't want to play too aggressive in the lane. In the sense that if he gets priority and he ends up laning around here at the 3-minute mark, he could be ganked behind him. He's playing Flash Ignite, and his lane is pretty much over. So simply, just because how the junglers are already pathing in the early game, he is forced to play more in a passive way in the first 4 minutes of the game, which are arguably also the most important in the laning phase, by the way. Just in terms of mindset and the first concept here, just because of the early jungle pathing that is playing out, he has to basically play a lot safer in the early game, right? So what that leads to is here we're just laning, and Lilia is doing Raptor Scruggs rep buff, and then she's going to path into bot, right? And whereas Kha'Zix is just full clearing into top. If I were to lose half my HP and he were to lose half his HP, it is beneficial for me simply because I'm strong side, right? I will have my jungler on top side, he will not. So he is not allowed to take trades. That's the first concept I want to talk about. So the first clear of junglers already impacts so much how top laners can play in the early game. Of course, this counts for every lane, but you'll see the points that I'm going to make. So here, even on weak side, he's played it very well here. Outspace me, got the W off, so the early trades went in his favor, but still doesn't matter too much because I have the priority, and I'm able to just play the lane out as is, right? So what I'm doing here, without going too in depth, is I'm just doing a 4th wave crash, and I'll talk about it later why I do the 4th wave crash here in this game. So I'm slow pushing this wave, waiting for this wave to come, and I'll do my 4th wave crash, right? And now the first time we see Lilia on the map right here is at 250, which is already extremely late. As you can see, Kha'Zix has already done 4 camps. Lilia is still yet to go to her bot side jungle. We see Lilia on the map for the first time, right? And everybody can verify right now that she's done these 3 camps. We also had a ward here, and that she is ganking mid right here. Perfect. So everybody knows also right now that Lilia, after doing this mid gank, will be going towards her bot side, right? So I'm just doing the slow push, and then after wave number 4, I'm going to just crash this, and I'm going to recall. I could have some other options too. I could, for example, look to proxy this wave because I'm driven with a lot of wave clear in the early game. But however, this game, I just decided to recall and play for the bounce because Lilia is already delayed and Kha'Zix is still topside, right? So bear the fact in mind, just remember, right? So Drututt played this early game really well. Multiple things. He was playing weak side. He didn't look for too many equal health trades, right? So it's beneficial for him. He stayed high HP. He's farmed well. He traded well. So now he's also able to play out this bounce. Keep in mind, he's playing with Flash Ignite, right? So now he should be in an advantageous position simply because he had to play safe in the early game. But now on this bounce, he will hit level 5 faster than I do. And as a result of that, he's able to play more aggressive here, right? However, the problem comes when his jungler is still bot side at this point of the game, and Kha'Zix right now, so what should happen usually around the 4-minute timer is Lilia would have cleared into bot, right? Full cleared into bot. Scuttle spawns 330, she takes the Scuttle, maybe looks for a gank bot, maybe looks for a gank mid, recalls and comes back into top side. Similarly here, how the Kha'Zix should recall and go back to his respawning bot side camps, right? So Lilia should recall, go top side, Kha'Zix should recall, go bot side, and then on this bounce, it should be very hard for me to play because Lilia should be here, Kha'Zix should be bot side, right? So keep in mind, Drututt had to play safe in the first 4 waves. Now going forward here, I'm I'm supposed to play more safe, right? With the jungle pathing. Because you see here, these camps are respawning, these camps are respawning. However, Lilia peeks her head out here again. And again, I verified Lilia's position with only 22 CS. So she is missing 2 camps still, because a full clear would be 28 CS. She has 2 alt CS, maybe because she took a minion here or like a ward somewhere. So a full clear is 28 CS. So right here, with Lilia peeking bot side with 20 CS, I know she still has to collect 2 bot side camps before she would ever come back top. Kha'Zix spots this too, so Kha'Zix looks for a gank here, which is already extremely good for me. So even this, on this bounce where he is supposed to finally be able to play the game, he still cannot play out the game, right? Lilia is clearing her bot side camps now, very standard, but I have the item lead now, I have sustain lead, he's low on mana, the wave is pushing towards me, and that is a result of the 4th wave crash. To explain that a little bit more in depth too, is here after I've crashed the wave, right? And the wave is going to be in this position. Ultimately, his next minion wave is always going to arrive faster. Thus, the wave will push back into me, and this is forced, right? After I've done the 4th wave crash and I walk back into lane, I've lost two melee minions here of EXP, but the wave is pushing towards me. So he is forced to play out this bounce, right? Because I did the 4th wave crash. But again, usually, this is a good position for him because his jungler should be here. In fact, it's still reversed. He's still gonna play out the game, so he loses half his HP, loses mana, and now you see he is basically impossible to play out this bounce for him. It's really hard for him, right? Thus far, I would still argue he's made 0 mistakes. But you see already where this is leading to for his laning phase, right? Now, Lilia takes her 2 bot side camps, which she should. And then right now, you see Camille pretty much cannot play out the game. And this is not because he made a single mistake. This is all because of jungle interaction, right? I would also, to talk about the matchup, it's pretty much like it's a skill matchup in the early game. Okay, so here he tries to push it out, but I'm simply more healthy, right? I punish him here in a small trade, and now he's basically forced to recall, but I'm going to hard push, so if he recalls, he's going to lose a full cannon wave. I'm perhaps get a plate as well. So he decides to stay, but even that option is bad for him. Now, another tiny detail here, or a big detail rather, is that Lilia shows herself for the 3rd time on the map here. So after taking her camps, she again shows here on the map and even shows mid. So at 5 minutes, Lilia still shown bot side, hasn't recalled yet, so I still know the jungler's tempo, right? And as a result of this, I'm also still allowed to play aggressive here. Lilia should have already been top side again. And now this leads to me just, you know, being in this much of a good position. And now I cancel space with Ignite as well. He's forced to recall because I'm gonna get level 6 on this wave. He knows that. So as an end result of all of this right now, I'm going to be 20 CS up and the plate. However, Drututt made 0 mistakes. This was all jungle interaction, right? And this is my issue with a top laner, or the top lane experience. At least now we're playing a skill matchup, right? Imagine instead of Riven Kha'Zix, he was playing against, I don't know, something like Rumble Jarvan, right? A really strong early game, ganking jungler, and a super hard counter matchup. How do you play the game in those scenarios, right? It's all reliant in a way on junglers. So now, to top it all off, on this bounce here, right? This bounce is forced again, where he's pushing into me. Nautilus shows up, so he dies. Right, he's slow pushing into hard push, which is what he should do, but then he just dies because of Nautilus roam. In the meantime, his team is still losing everywhere too. So this is why top lane feels so frustrating to play for so many players, because if player skill is even, you're more so reliant on the matchup that you play and the, I guess, the mercy of the junglers, right? I would say that Lilia, of course, had a super bad path in this game, and she made a lot of mistakes. But her making mistakes makes it so Drututt can play, even though he made 0 mistakes. If we look at the stats here after I pushed this in, right? I am 30 CS up and 2 plates, and he couldn't do anything about it. And that is why top lane feels so frustrating to play in so many scenarios. Again, I understand that top lane is a broken role in terms of items and in terms of, like, if the champions get ahead. Because this game, I'm going to completely 1v9 this game, right? But the issue is that he didn't make a single mistake for me to be in this position. It was more so his teammates around him making these mistakes. Also, I understand that this applies to other roles too. This also applies to a jungle weak standing bot lane or a mid laner having to deal with support roams. However, as a top laner, there is nothing he can do anymore. He can't, like, randomly go... I mean, I guess he could randomly try and roam bot, randomly try and roam mid, but it's so costly for him to do that because I would just take the entire turret and he completely flips the game. As a mid laner, you can still, you know, try to invade with your jungler, roam bot, roam top. As a bot lane, I mean, I guess as AD carry, you also have a lot less options. But then again, as a jungler, you know, if you're screwed, you just try and gank another lane, or you try to get back. In other scenarios, in a sense, you have more options. As a top laner, he made 0 mistakes, has no options left, and that is why I believe top lane is not that broken. Hope you guys understand some of the concepts I did. So after all the yapping, yeah, fundamentals, that's what. Enjoy your day, guys. Have a nice weekend.